G'day there guys, in your opinion, how many dogs is too many dogs? I'd say 4, because it's just... Welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. It's your boy Markee. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Tell me what you think about it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one after this. Please watch this one. Posted by user Throw a Wire A-Swim, titled, Am I the a-hole for ungrounding my daughter after my husband grounded her because his reason for grounding her was stupid? My husband in 2019 lost his job of 10 years and had to take up very low-paying ones. My daughter, 15, has been doing commercials, modeling, and acting jobs since she was 6. Since 2020, my husband's income has been cut even more. I don't work and have never worked. As such, most of the money we use has come from my daughter, who says that she wants to use her nest egg to help us out with stuff like rent for the house that we live in right now, utilities, and bought me a really nice tote for my birthday. My daughter has worked non-stop for nearly 10 years, and now she wants to have some fun with her friends. However, my husband decides to get strict and tell her that curfew is 11 p.m. She decides on Monday to go out with friends from the neighborhood. My husband texts her at 11:05 and says if she's not home in 15 minutes, that we were going to have a problem because she didn't call ahead. She sends back, I'll be home when the Uber I decided to call pulls up to the damn driveway. Don't forget to turn off the lights I pay for. She gets home at 12:30, and my husband is mad at her snark and her rule breaking and grounds her for 3 days. Tuesday morning he goes away to see his mum with cancer. He calls later, saying that he's going to be gone for a couple of days because she's in bad shape. Tuesday afternoon, I tell my daughter that I'm ungrounding her, and that her dad was wrong to ground her, and that we cannot begin to repay her for her support. I feel like my husband's curfew is stupid because she's homeschooled and doesn't need to wake up early. Second, my husband tries to treat her like a child, yet apparently thinks she's adult enough to pay nearly all of our bills. I think it's hypocritical, and that the My House, My Rules is being abused because our daughter is the one paying for most of our expenses from her own money. Am I the a-hole? I feel like my husband is robbing our daughter of her agency, and this is a crappy way of repaying her for her supporting us until he finds better work. My husband found out that she was at a house party through Instagram and is texting me angry messages, but I texted back that he had no right to ground her in the first place. I feel like a lot of the tension in this situation would have been fixed if OP had been working. Like, you don't work and you have never worked? Is your plan to always be a housewife? Always be a stay-at-home mum? I don't know, I feel like that's where a lot of these problems are coming from, with you not having an income to support the family. You've not really given us any reasons as to why you're not working. But regardless, I can see where the husband is coming from with his frustrations here. He's trying to do what he can for this family. Your daughter is also providing for you guys and doing a very good job of it. I really don't think that that does give her an excuse to be out till 12:30 partying, especially in the times that we're living in currently. And I personally don't really see where the husband is screwing up in this one. He's still trying to support the family. He's still trying to punish the child when the child does wrong. I don't know how much agency you're supposed to be giving your daughter at this time in the world. Yes, she is supporting you guys, but she's still 16 after all. From the way I see it, it's everyone sucks here, but I'm still on the side of the husband after all is said and done. I don't see how this was wrong for him to ground her, and the fact that he's going to see his mum with cancer and you seem to just be undoing all of the work that he's done in a way. You don't really seem like that much of a supporting partner. Everyone sucks here, you and the 15-year-old suck, I really don't think he sucks. Everyone sucks here. Jesus Christ, get a job? No 15-year-old child should be the primary breadwinner in a house with 2 adults. Curious, what's the rationale behind the dad being an a-hole here? He gives her a curfew. He gives her a chance to come home with no consequences after she breaks curfew. He receives snark from her and gives her consequences as a result of that snark. He texts his wife angry messages because she not only doesn't support him, but goes directly against him. Am I missing something? Or is it because he doesn't have a good enough job? We not only don't know the circumstances behind why that's the case, but I think it's unrelated to the current situation here. because he is using his 15-year-old daughter to pick up the slack for his and his wife's failings. He can't make the wife get a job, but he could very well divorce her if she refuses to and lets her daughter pick up the slack. And unless he has multiple jobs that keeps him extremely busy, he's also an a-hole for not doing more. Honestly though, beyond that, I really don't think he has any moral authority to really be telling her what to do. She may legally be underage, but she is clearly acting like the adult and taking care of the family. I don't really see a good moral argument for why he can expect things like a curfew and to try to suddenly pull the "I'm the boss" card. It would probably be better, and the child likely needs things like that, but again, the parents have created a severe issue that makes this rather unworkable. This is one of those few cases where it just doesn't work. I mean, he deserves snark, and should be thankful that's all he's getting. That sounds mean, but again, the reality is a 15-year-old and likely previously 14-year-old is keeping the house afloat, while both of the parents are just failing in at least critical way just from what we know. Edit. Upon seeing some of OP's responses here, he is absolutely an a-hole for divorcing this mooch who sees nothing wrong with letting a child support her lazy ass because she's too good to get a job. I actually think the fact that their minor child is currently floating the house is a very good reason to continue using normal boundaries. She's in a pretty vulnerable position, being asked to take on completely outsized responsibilities, and ultimately to grow up very quickly without a lot of support or guidance. Obviously, the first thing that the parents need to do is figure out how to get their finances back under control so that they aren't relying on their child. But if she's going to keep working like this, she's also going to need some boundaries and actual parenting. Your money, your rules doesn't really work for a 15-year-old. It's an awesome recipe for enabling terrible choices, letting her walk into dangerous scenarios, and most likely negatively affecting her mental health. In this specific scenario, I think that the dad handled things appropriately with a reasonable curfew, a reasonable get-out-of-jail-free card, and age-appropriate consequences for not following through. OP is the a-hole in this scenario for basically confirming that the teenager counts as the adult in this scenario, and can do whatever the F she wants. Posted by user Recipe Muted, titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my brother's girlfriend the real reason my brother wants a paternity test is because he's telling her something else? My brother may be one of the dumbest people alive. I watch a lot of reality TV shows, and last month I was watching episodes on YouTube of a show called Divorce Court and Paternity Court. My brother came into the living room while I was watching the latter, and we started watching together. We had a mini competition to see if we could guess if the guy in question is or isn't the father. He kept saying things like, 'The baby looks just like him, look at the ears, nose, that's the kid,' and other things like that. And when the results come back that the guy isn't the father, he would be so shocked. Or if it was between two different men, he would choose the guy that he thought resembled the baby more, and when it would be the other guy's kid, he was awestruck. I explained to him that you can't just go off of facial features to determine paternity, but it is a good indicator. That was like a month ago. My brother's girlfriend called my mum recently crying, saying that my brother was having doubts that their 5-year-old daughter is his, and that for the past few weeks, he's been distant with the both of them. This was news to all of us. I called my brother and asked him what was up. He said that he just wants 100% proof his daughter is his. I asked him where this was coming from, and he said nowhere. I said that my niece looks just like him and our family, and then he said that I'm a hypocrite because I had told him you can't go off of looks to determine DNA. Then I put 2 and 2 together and realized that this was stemming from us watching that paternity show. So because he kept guessing wrong, he thinks he was wrong in his daughter being his. I told him did his dumb ass tell that to his girlfriend, and he admitted he told her that her ex called and said that he was sleeping with her right before she was meant to conceive. So she gives in to the test because he knows his reasoning is dumb. I hung up and called my sister-in-law to tell her the real reason, and my brother called me cussing me out because she refuses to take the test he ordered online and is now taking him to court for a court-ordered test along with child support because she's breaking up with him. He told me I ruined his life because now this DNA test comes with a cost of monthly child support, when before, she was willing to take the test to prove to him that she wasn't cheating. This one was honestly hard to piece together what the hell is going on. But the question again is, am I the a-hole for telling my brother's girlfriend the real reason my brother wants a paternity test because he's telling her something else? He was lying to his partner, and this is the result of his lies. I don't think that OP is the a-hole for telling the truth there. I think if the truth came out later, and the partner had known that OP had covered it up, that would indeed make you a huge a-hole. So I feel like you morally did the right thing in this situation, and I don't see you being an a-hole for that. He's suffering the consequences of his actions. Not the a-hole. He should stop watching TV shows if he's going to get suspicious of someone all the time. I'm honestly shocked that this dumbass show caused all this mess. I thought our competition was funny. I had no idea it was causing him to doubt his own daughter. He's been with her mum for 5 years, and now it's all over, and I'm just shocked? He's only been dating the mum 5 years, but they already have a 5-year-old daughter? Edited, because people kept commenting they just slept together before being married, they are not married. Read all of OP's posts and comments. And OP replies, their daughter just turned 5 this September. Their would-be anniversary is at the end of the year to make it 6 years. We all thought he was going to propose then because it's also her birthday month, but I guess not anymore. Okay, however, that would mean they got pregnant in the very beginning of their relationship. Definitely stupid to be questioning paternity from a show, but this context does make a little more sense for his sudden wondering than if he had been with a long-established partner before having a child. Their relationship started way before they became official. They were living together as roommates first and started dating, and she got pregnant when she got off birth control to switch to a new one at the beginning of their relationship. They were official for a while by then. Okay, so not exactly planned, but still welcome. Then your idiot brother goes and screws it up because he's insecure. Yeah, bold move for that dipstick. The problem wasn't so much the request for a paternity test, but he lied to her about her ex. Why? That was low. Also, it'll make her distrust anything he ever said. How many crummy lies has he told her for how many stupid reasons, no matter how it makes her feel? Why didn't he just tell her the truth? Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, your brother was a liar and is now getting what he deserves. It also sounds like he's not the brightest light in the harbor. He's dumb, but like in an airhead way. He misses the point of a joke and we all laugh and it's innocent and lighthearted. I never thought he would do something this dumb though. The way he was manipulating his ex was not lighthearted, it was malicious. Posted by someone that deleted their account, titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to meet my grandchild? My wife is begging me to come with her. I have a son that I haven't seen in 6 years, and he is dead to me. If anyone asks if we have children, I say we have one daughter, and that's it. He married a woman neither of us liked, made terrible financial decisions, and ended up having to move in with us. We let him live there for 6 months until my wife and daughter-in-law ended up in a screaming match over lipstick, and obviously it wasn't really about the lipstick, but I couldn't take it anymore. I asked them to leave, not immediately, but to make plans. My son said that I couldn't evict him legally, and I reassured him that I didn't mean that night. I just wanted him to figure it out. He said that they were tenants because they had lived with us for over 30 days. Now, it is slightly my fault for not knowing the law, but in my opinion, my son is the scum of the earth. We had to go through a long court process, and it was months before we could get him out. Living in that house was hell. My wife screamed all the time, and it was just unbearable. I told my son the day he left to never contact me again. I don't care if he's terminally ill and needs a kidney, I'm not his father. Come again? Well, everything has been great for 6 years, but daughter-in-law had a baby, and he called my wife crying about how much he misses us and that he wants us to meet his son. My wife agreed, though when I asked her about it, she admitted that she really doesn't want to meet the baby, she just felt guilty. She is now begging me to go with her because she's uncomfortable, but I never want to see either of them again, and that baby is nothing to me. My question is, why are you coming to Reddit with all of this? How do you write such a spiteful and hateful post and expect not to be judged as the a-hole here? Like, what redeeming qualities have you given about yourself that would make us side with you? I really don't understand. I'm gonna go with you're the a-hole for this one. Again, I don't feel like we have enough information on this post, but the way you've written it, I already hate you. You're the a-hole. This is an extremely complex situation, and way above the pay grade of this subreddit. There's way too much information missing, and I genuinely feel that we would need to hear your son's side of things before anyone could even think of giving an accurate judgment. No judgment. Honestly, this is the only way to go. There is no way in hell that this is the full story, and I get a feeling that there was a lot of stuff that went on when the son was growing up. Either way, dysfunction can't be solved by, well, he did triple X, so I did triple Y, spanning back decades. And to be honest, if this is all it takes for him and his wife not to want to meet his grandchild, I'm thinking there is way more to this story. 6 years has passed. This is crazy. Sometimes we're blessed with a post where the very first sentence makes it clear that the whole thing should be read as, I am some kind of socially dysfunctional nutcase, and everything I report in this post should be taken with not so much a grain of salt as a whole fudging mine. Opening the post with, my son is dead to me, and failing to provide any coherent explanation as to why certainly qualifies. You're the a-hole? Quoting from a comment of OP's further down, she, OP's wife, would legitimately stand outside the door until I took it off the wall and scream that she wants them to die and she should have aborted him, but that was after they basically became squatters. Your wife sounds like such a deeply bad mother that I doubt your kids were raised in an emotionally healthy way. They didn't have a chance. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, raise your kids with a monster for a mother whose outrageous behavior you support, and you win kids who do dumb, rude crap like suing for squatters' rights. AITA, OP is now alleging that his son and daughter-in-law's behavior was so bad it pushed his wife into a psychotic break, and that's when she said these things. I guess it would all come down to whether you believe OP and how toxic of an environment you think the son was raised in. Personally, I think OP's wife, a woman already used to frequently yelling at people, saw a chance to be even more crappy to people and get away with it, and took it. Don't you guys love posts like this that have absolutely no context and they just spiral into hell? Because I'm living for it. Posted by user AKTTT2Q, titled, Am I the a-hole for cursing out a couple who asked me to be in a polyamorous relationship? I, 30-year-old bisexual male, have been friends with a married couple for a few years now. We'll call them Jennifer and Anthony. Both of them work in the same industry as me. Jennifer and Anthony are almost 10 years older than me and established in their careers. Together, they make significantly more money than I do, and they have become mentors to me at various points in my career. Both are conventionally attractive and aware that I'm bisexual. We used to go out to dinner once a week and talk about work as well as personal stuff. I've also been to their house several times and have babysat their kids. However, since the pandemic started, we've just been Zooming once a week instead. I enjoy socializing with them and consider them to be among my closest friends. On a recent call, however, they said they wanted to discuss the possibility of something more serious than friendship. I immediately got angry. I said that, even though I'm bi, I am neither a prostitute nor a toy, and I'm certainly not down for threesomes. They said, no, that's not what we mean. Then told me they were looking for a long-term relationship, not a threesome. I told them that, even if I were down for a polyamorous relationship, it was still unfair of them to expect me to enter a relationship where power is distributed unequally. After all, they are much wealthier than I am and have been married for a decade, meaning every decision would be them against me. I told them to go F themselves and ended the call. Since then, Jennifer has texted me several times, and her husband has texted me once. I haven't answered. I'm still angry about this, but now I worry that I overreacted. Was I being an a-hole or what? Should I have been more polite? Edit. No, I would not turn down a single man or woman that makes more money than me, but this is different because it's a married couple. The situation feels like they are hiring me like they would a maid or nanny. And edit 2, I'm noticing big differences in responses between people who are members of the poly community, not the a-hole, and everyone else. You're the a-hole. I guess I'm going to be part of the everyone else column then, because I feel like they came to you, they communicated in a open and honest way, and yes, there is a power dynamic and a power struggle there, but it's absolutely up to you whether you are going to enter that relationship or not. They didn't come at you cursing and demanding and yelling at you, yet it feels like you spit in their face. You're a good friend to these people. They came to you respectfully asking this, and you told them to go F themselves, and that this was unfair. What was unfair about them asking a question? You can just say, no, I respect the relationship, I would like to keep it where it is, I don't feel like doing this, here are my reasons why, and you communicate like a normal, sane human being. Everyone has their bias when it comes to things like this, and I understand the polyamorous community is on your side. I just think that you dealt with this in such a tactless way. It seems like they had respect for you, and you had no respect for them after the fact. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. You are right that that would likely be a bad relationship to enter, but yes, you could have been more polite considering they genuinely wanted a meaningful relationship with you. Since you have been such good friends with them so far, it sounds like they would have been understanding if you just declined politely. I find OP's concerns about the earnings difference a bit much too. I mean, a lot, or most, of relationships have a party who earns a bit more or less than the other, but it seems like a major issue to him. OP's phrasing makes me think it might be an insecurity thing. It seems that the couple was quite genuine, and there is no hint that earnings have been a problem before. It's definitely an insecurity thing. The chances of a couple making the same aren't that great unless you marry someone from work. My extended family and our friends are all over the place, but I think my husband and I are the only ones where someone doesn't make at least twice as much as the other. You're the a-hole. You're entitled to not want to take part in any relationship they want with you, but you verbally abused them when they just asked you a question. You totally overreacted. I'm sorry, but he works in the same industry as them, and they are probably in positions of power compared to him. That's a clear boundary not to cross, as they have power to blacklist him in the industry. They should have never asked in the first place, and he's free to respond however he wishes, not the a-hole. All the more reason for him to politely decline. If it was inappropriate to ask, it was equally inappropriate to respond that way. Not the a-hole, I'm polyamorous, and unicorn hunting is a big problem in our community. Usually they target women though. It usually ends up being super predatory, and the unicorn usually ends up getting burnt bad. Your instincts are right on this. Power imbalances are dangerous. Yes, you could have responded more gently, but ultimately, it's up to you to protect yourself. Hopefully someday you can repair the friendship, but in the meantime, they have a lot to learn about equitable relationships. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enable me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but you know, It is what it is. Anyway, guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.